My hair is a wreck. My face is a wreck. Everything's a wreck. Let's see if we can actually get some people this time. Now that it's later in the day and it's a Wednesday. If anybody went to church, they should be home by now. Hello. Oh, hey, John. Yeah, I can do that in a little bit. How are you today? This is a double side buckle moto jacket. We took 70% off of the price. $109 was the regular QVC. I'm still trying to get myself together. Been having a lot of problems with my stomach. So I had an ultrasound done today to try to pinpoint what's going on. I'm hoping more people show up. I'm having a hard time with that. Okay, cool. I'll definitely check that out. It's Justin Henry. This is halogen blue, which is more of a powder blue or sky blue, 0 through 12, and then 18 through 28. Now, a lot of us might not necessarily go for a jacket like this. Let's see if... But for $27 okay, cool. In this color, you'd probably say, you know what? Let's see if I can... So we have a nice range of sizes, 0 through 12, and then 18 through 28. Share this. This color is called... Okay, I'm trying to share this to see if I can get more people in. So that way, who knows? Okay, that looks like all the ways that I can do it. See if anybody else shows up. If not, you just might be my only fan, John. It's kind of sad, isn't it? But trying to get back into things. I had hoped to be able to sit there and do my hair and do my makeup, but it is what it is. Seems I'm fairly pathetic. It's the Linda and Johnny show today. Yay! I was talking to Tanya and just really getting discouraged and contemplating just giving it up. I've come to the realization that you know, some people are meant to succeed at this and some aren't, and I might be one that isn't. So if I do that, I'll still support everybody, but I just wonder if any of this is really worth my time, if anybody's truly watching. Besides you, because you showed up. So halogen blue, black, coastal blue, chalk white. I don't know. Maybe it's my titles. 0 is the size that remains in that color. And these could just suck at titles. I don't know. I'm not going to decide right now if I'm going to quit or give it up. Hey, Mercy. It's me, you, and Johnny. That's it. Because
it seems I'm not meant to succeed at this. I was just telling Johnny that I'm currently contemplating. I was telling, um, hi Rita. I don't have my glasses on, so I think that's who it is. I don't want to, but I'm not getting anywhere. I'm like stagnant at 210, and you know, and I appreciate, you know, everyone that has stuck with me. But I just, I don't know. I'm not deciding yet. Um, it's just, a few things that I've realized, and I think sometimes there's just some that aren't meant to succeed, and that could be me. Um, it I just don't know yet. Um, I don't want to decide while I'm dealing with everything with my health. So, it won't be anything immediate. Um, but like, you know, I was talking with Tanya, and like on one of my videos, I don't even remember, it's been a long time. I didn't even try to disguise the little giveaway. I put it right there in the description. No one picked up on it. It's just kind of disheartening, you know. I look at my stats, for anyone that's, watching my videos. I'm not getting much watch time either. But I don't know yet. And like I was saying before you guys jumped on, I could just really suck at titles. I know that titles are important, and I just could really suck at it. Um, I can't do it right now, Johnny, because everything that I do is on my phone. I don't have a laptop or anything at the moment. So if I go to do that, the live's ended. So, and I wouldn't be able to show it to you because this is my phone. That's it. That's all I have. I don't have a camera. I don't have a laptop. Because, I don't want to put a ton of money into it if it's not going to go anywhere. Because it can be an extraordinarily expensive hobby. So if it is just a hobby, I don't want to put that much expense into it because I'm already with all the beauty boxes that I get, and I just picked up a new one from the UK. So who knows when I'll get it. But with all that alone is rather costly. No, they do though. And that's par for the course. You're always going to have those that do that. I'm just really curious to know out of the 210 subscribers that I have, how many are truly subscribers? Because honestly, you, Tanya, and Rita are the only ones that are consistently commenting on my videos. I do get comments from time to time from other people, but you guys are the only ones that are consistent with it. So, if you look at it that way, I have 3 subscribers. So, yay, fun times. I'm trying to keep optimistic about it, but some days it's harder than others, and I've been under a great deal of stress too because of my Social Security. They sent me a letter in September saying they were going to give me this money because they held it back for the lawyer, blah blah blah, and it's been 5 years. And then 2 weeks after that, they sent me another letter saying that I owed that amount for the attorney. And I thought, okay, well, that's just going to wash itself out. Then, day before yesterday, Monday, I got a letter saying that I wasn't going to get my pay for December or January and part of February to pay that back. And I panicked because I pay my rent out of my pay. And, as it is, my husband's working overtime and stuff like that. And so it was a fun little jaunt down to the office yesterday. And I thought my appointment was at 1 o'clock. Turned out my appointment was actually like 11:15, and so I'm sitting there, and because the woman was like, "Hang on, let me, I'll be right back." And so I'm sitting there, and I told my husband, I'm like, just check the card, from the doctor to make sure that it is at 1 o'clock. I said, I think it is, but because with his schedule, that's typically what we do. Nope, it was 11:15, and it was like 10:30, and I'm in Lexington, and I need to be in Winchester for my appointment. So that was fun, but she came back in time, and I was only like 2 minutes late. But she was like, fill out these papers. It'll put a pause on the payback for them to look into the steeper. She's like, because you didn't get the money, right? And I was like, no. I said, I got the first letter on the 1st of September. I got the second one on the 15th. I said, they don't move that fast. She kind of chuckled. And she was like, we have to contact, this one to make sure, So who knows? It would be nice to get the money because Lord knows I can put it to some good use. But as long as it at least flushes out and I don't owe that, we'll be good. Because there's no way I could pay over $2,000. Hold on. Huh. Now, see, I have both. Now, I think in 14, I didn't have it. I just relied on the insurance through my husband, but I found that it really helps me out financially, even though I'm paying per month for Medicare and for the insurance through him. But with all the testing I've got to do, And the doctors that I go to and this and that, it has really helped me out with not having to do a lot of co-pays or co-insurance and all that garbage. And that's not even the worst of it, Rita. I called in a panic. I called them Monday, and I was panicked. And the woman was like, you know, oh, well, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, hang on. Let me tell you what this first letter. She's like, I've already got the letter up. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to understand this. She's like, I don't, I can't explain it to you if you keep cutting me off. I'm like, well, you're not allowing me to ask, you know? And so finally I let her just say whatever she was going to say. And then I said, that, um, I, see, and that's what they were trying to do with me. Um, so you may want to, I don't recommend calling because that woman, pardon me, but she was a bitch. And that's not the word I used. And I loathe the other word that I used, but she just, because I told her, I said, if you take all of December, all of January, I said, I'm going to need a number to a shelter because I won't be able to pay my rent. I called my son and asked him if he could take my dogs. That's how bad it was. See, and Jer, he works like at least 6 days a week. Sometimes it's 7, and he's doing 12-hour shifts. And he's so stressed out. And I feel so bad for that. And, and he's supporting what I'm doing with all this. Because prior to this, I just stayed in my room. I just stayed in bed all day and did nothing. I barely functioned. And now I'm getting up, I get dressed, I do my hair, I do my makeup. I've been keeping my nails done. And he's seen a big change in me. So he's very supportive of it. And he's like, I don't mind working a little bit more so that, you can do that. And, but I know that it puts a lot of stress on him because a lot of times if he does get a day off, he's taking care of the yard. He's taking care of the dogs. He's doing, the cleaning that I can't do. And so even when he does get that day off, he doesn't get a day off. Yeah. Now, does he work at Toyota? I ask because I know that, where you live. And, oh, okay. I just know that a lot of people that live where you do, they work at Toyota. Because we actually looked into moving there for him to work at Toyota, but he got into a near accident on like his first, because he got hired, and on his first day he got into a near accident, and he would have been late, and they said don't even bother showing up if you're going to be late. And so okay. And so then like 3 or 4 years after that happened, he went back to Kelly to try to get into Toyota, and they were like, nope, sorry, you had that one shot. And it's like, all right, come on. And they're like, if you have an accident report and da 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 da, and it's like, it wasn't an actual accident. It was raining that day, and it was almost an accident, and he had to turn around and come home because he would have been late. And it's just ridiculous how stringent they are. And a friend of his works there that he used to work with, and he wants to bring Jer into there. But now, where he's at, he's making more money than he could, even as a direct hire through Toyota. You know, and then there's the traveling back and forth until we could move, and then I don't think there's any place there that we could afford. You know, it's bad enough here because the rent here is surprisingly high, but it's because of a lot of people get those like supplement checks, so they're not actually paying that rent. The government's paying the rent. And it's like, okay, what about those of us that don't have that kind of assistance? You know, I can't pay, $9 a month. And especially for some of these places, they're not worth that. So I'm like, I'm ready to cut my losses and run. I've been in Kentucky now for, it'll be 9 years come March. And that's the longest I've been in a place other than where I grew up in Detroit and Florida. So my feet are getting itchy to split. But I have to really take a look at where I want to go because of my son's going to be getting married, and then they'll have kids, and so forth, and I want to be able to be where I can see them. See, my husband's a native Floridian, but he's got family all around here. He's got family in Richmond and Lexington, Paris, Carlisle, Cynthiana, Winchester. Mount Sterling is the only place in the immediate area that he doesn't have family. So we decided to come here and kind of, have a little space. But it's just getting, I need to leave. But I don't want to go back to Florida either. It's too hot. There's a reason they don't have lightning bugs. Because it's too hot. They could light up and just, they'd blow up. I am most definitely a Yankee. I need my seasons. I need fall. I need winter, snow. I'm one of those weirdos that I love snow. Everything about snow. Not so much driving in black ice, but I love to play in it. Sledding, snowball fights, snowmen, bonfires, freezing your butt off. It just makes everything so pretty. It really does. But the first time my husband and my kids, because my kids are Floridians too, first time they'd seen it was when we first tried to escape from Florida and we went to Nashville, and it snowed like half an inch maybe, and the kids were just so enthralled, and it was so neat seeing it through their eyes for the first time, because I grew up outside of Detroit, so I mean we had snow. Yeah, it's weird because my husband can tolerate the cold and the snow a lot more than I can. And a lot of that's because my thyroid, my core temp is 1 degree under normal. So I'm like always cold. In fact, I have a little portable heater next to me, and I have my throw blanket on because I'm always cold. And it's like, when I go to the doctor's and my temp is sitting at like 9.9, they're like, oh, it's, nothing, and I'm like, okay, but keep in mind, my core temp is 97.4. And my sister is that way, well, until she had gastric bypass and lost all the weight. But um, if I needed my daughter to go to sleep because she was born with stomach problems, so she really didn't sleep in her crib. She uh a lot of times had to hold her tummy to tummy to put that pressure. And if I really needed a break and needed her to go to sleep, I'd hand her off to my sister because her body heat, it would just cause her to lull into to sleep real easy. And but I'm the complete opposite. I'm always cold because, like I said, my core temperature is a degree below normal. So, and my husband just doesn't get it at all. He's like, I don't see how you're cold. Gee, let's examine the facts here. I have my dogs watching QVC again because Mama needs Christmas gifts. But I have no money. Yeah, they say that I have reflux, which is why the doctor wants me to have an endoscopy done, to make sure that the problem that I have with my vocal cords isn't, perforations in the esophagus or anything like that. Pardon me. And then also trying to figure out what's going on with my stomach, so he's like, you really need to have the endoscopy done. And he's like, might as well do it at the same time they do the colonoscopy. And I'm like, yay, get me coming and going. Thanks. But it'll be a nice little nap on propofol, so I won't know anything going on. But yeah, my mom had that, and so she's actually had to have her throat stretched twice now. And a lot of the symptoms I'm having are very similar to what she has. So, but when my voice got all raspy, he said it was, he did this thing up my nose and down to look at my vocal cords. And he said my vocal cords were all swollen, and it was probably because of the acid. I'm like, okay. You're expert on this. I'll take your word for it. But no, I have a lot of issues. Trying to get paperwork from one doctor to my pain doctor because he wants to put a spinal cord stimulator on my back. Which what they'll do is they'll thread the leads through an epidural and then wear the battery pack around my waist for 2-3 days. Then they'll take that out, and then if that's successful for the back pain, then what they'll do is they'll do like a 2 or 3 inch incision in the back, like to the side. It's not like right on the cord, but to the side, and they'll put the permanent leads on the spinal cord, and then make a little pocket for the battery to go into, kind of like pacemaker goes under the skin. And that's supposed to last for several years. So here's hoping that will work. And then I gotta have him look at my neck. I have the thyroid. I have the brain stuck, reflux. See, I thought that I did, but he doesn't see anything like that. But I have, because they tried doing several things. They've tried doing injections. They've tried doing what do you call it? I know the actual name for it, but basically going in and burning the nerves so that they don't carry the pain signals. And that, the first one did all right, but the second one for the other side made it worse. The doctor screwed up. And so I switched doctors. And he was like, that's the problem with a lot of them. They're letting these anesthesiologists do it. And they don't really have the expertise or experience to do it. And I'm like, but the surgery for spinal stenosis, I know a little bit about, because it's very similar to what my husband had done on his neck. Basically, what they did to his neck was they came in. Oh, I like that cardigan. Sorry. They did a small incision in his neck in the fold, so you can't even see a scar. And they removed a disc, and we had him do the bone from the hip, because less chance of rejection than using a cadaver bone, plus having a cadaver bone is kind of creepy. But they shaved a little piece of bone off of his hip and fused that onto the discs. And then he has a titanium plate. Best thing that he ever had done. Okay, it fixed the problem. The only limitations he has is he doesn't have the full range of motion. He has very good range of motion, but not the full range. We were in a car accident and did a lot of damage to his neck and his shoulder. And, very successful. And then a friend of mine had that same type of surgery done on her back. And it was a little more recovery time for the back than it was the neck. She had to have a back brace that she wore, and that helped a great deal. And occasionally, after she was done with the back brace, she'd have to wear it, like if she was going for a long drive or something like that. But she hasn't had to in years. So it's a matter of, my problem was the doctor that I went to, I relied on people telling me who to go see instead of actually doing my due diligence and research. I recommend looking on healthlines.com. And anytime that, I hear of a doctor, or I need to go see, like, I really want to go see a dermatologist for my face, I go on to Healthlines, and I do my research through all the doctors, see what people said, see how long it's been since they've had a review, what their credentials are, what hospitals they're affiliated with, and all that. So, what I would recommend is researching spinal surgeons, okay, or neurologists that do surgery. Um, you want someone that specifically specializes in just that. You really don't want like an orthopedic surgeon that does knees and spine and and all this. You want someone that just does the spine. Um, and neurological surgeons, that's what they do too because it's all interconnected. Um, and then research them, figure out okay what hospitals you don't want to have it done at, and make sure that you're getting someone that's affiliated with the hospital you want to go to, like UK or Baptist. um because if I was where you are, I would go to UK or I would go to Baptist. Nope, good babies. I would not go to St. Joe, Maine. Okay.
I'm sure something's burning down, like a whole building.
Couple houses down has a fireplace.
No. There's a lot of smoke in the air. A huge
Really?
smoke. It's down there, way down in like CVS, maybe Kroger, somewhere in the middle of the bypass.
Really?
Like lots, enough smoke where we noticed the smoke in the parking lot of the church and here. And if you were to walk outside and look down there, you can see visible. It looks like fog, but you can smell the smoke. And like
right.
It's like a wood, rubbery, like it's like CVS burned down, or like a restaurant burned down and a gas tank exploded or something inside the restaurant, like a CO2 tank. Like maybe it's not McDonald's.
I hope no one was hurt.
Yeah, I do too. I'm gonna look it up and see if I can find it.
But I wouldn't be all that sad if CVS burned.
I would. I go to, that's like the closest place I go to get money. And Monsters. Monster energy drink. Oh, well, I can't. All credits go to that energy drink that I just mentioned. is that acceptable? Like,
you don't own the rights to Monster.
Go Monster, please sponsor me.
That's my daughter. She just came home from choir practice at church. And apparently, there's something burned. So she's going to look it up and see. I just hope no one was hurt. I just hate CVS that much. Because the insurance has forced us to have to use CVS. I was content with Kroger. And now I'm with CVS and they don't care and they don't pay attention and ugh, I hate CVS. Hate them. But I just hope, like I said, no one was hurt. Because that would be awful. No, we don't bark at noises outside. We're good babies. Shh. Enough. I think I just found my Christmas gift. Yeah, CVS is like getting everybody, and the problem is their service sucks. You know? Did you find anything out, Rand? Oh, she hasn't looked it up yet. But she said there's a lot of smoke. It's not like fireplace smoke, it's a lot of smoke. Coming from down that way. Really hope it wasn't Kroger's. Because that would suck. Now, if you want a really good pain doc and you don't mind driving, Dr. Sloop in Winchester. I trust him emphatically. Best decision I made was to go see him. Um, and it's like, he tells me, he's like, all right, I want you to take the tramadol. And I'm like, I don't want to take the tramadol. And he's like, I know that, you don't like taking pain meds, but he's like, sometimes you need to. And I'm like, you don't like taking them. But have a good night at work. I hated working night shift. I'm a night person, but I like having my nights to myself. That's why I worked in offices, or I worked for the bank. A couple of banks. And the bank was nice because then I had all the holidays. See, Jer, it's not really third shift. He goes in almost 4 in the afternoon, and then he works until about 2:15 in the morning. And it's what has my days and nights so screwed up, because I stay up till he gets home, and then he can't go to sleep right away. So, we're up for a couple of hours, and I end up not getting to bed till, 5, 6, sometimes 7. This morning was around 7 a.m., 8 a.m., because it was around 7 that I tried to do a live and realized no one's up. And the night before, I didn't even sleep at all until after I got home from Social Security and the doctor, because you have a good night, hon. Thank you for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. I thought at least we'd get some scragglers. Troll. Someone. But apparently not. So just to let you know too, the size that I am in this cardigan is medium, just to give you an idea. I'm kind of ready for a grandchild. But I'm also grateful that my son and his fiance are being smart about it. Trying to save money up, and not just rushing into it. They've been together for 4 years, but they're still young, and and she's a lot younger than him. She's actually younger than my daughter, but they're being real smart about it. But I go into like Walmart and stuff, and I see these little itty bitty teeny tiny shoes, or I see a stuffed toy, or I see an adorable little outfit. Because like at the hospital today when I was getting the ultrasound, in the gift shop, I saw that they had this adorable outfit onesie with little pants that says "I love you to the moon and back." And I was like, I told Jared, I said, I'm gonna have to start a grandchild hope chest kind of thing. So I can start buying slowly little things and putting them in, so that when I do have a grandchild, they're spoiled already before they're even thought of. Because it's going to be bad enough once, he does have a kid. Because I'll still be buying this and that and everything else. Um, I'm just mad about that. I've gotten things for one of my oldest friends' grandchildren. But in all fairness, she has the most gorgeous grandson and granddaughter. Aww. That's my son's middle name. That's sad though. Sometimes adding a kid into the mix, you think you're ready for it, but there's a lot of stress. I know when I had my son, of course, I was battling my thyroid getting thrown out of whack and postpartum depression, plus my normal depression, so it was like the perfect storm. And, just the stress of it. Oh, okay, that's a whole new ball game. Sorry to hear that. Pardon me, I'm going to do something really, really horrible and bad, but since it's just us in here, I smoke. I shouldn't. And I am trying to quit. I'm taking Wellbutrin for it. And it does help. But I've missed a couple of days, so I've got to get back on it because I can tell when I'm not taking it versus when I am. Yeah. Sometimes that happens though, I've known people that have been married for years and everyone thinking they were the perfect, and temptation just gets in the way. I am ready to quit. I need to. My dad had lung cancer when he was 19. My mom had it almost 5 years ago, and then again this past year. The first time she just had a little piece of her lung taken out, what they call a wedge. And this time she had to have targeted radiation. So it's not really, the odds of me getting it are so strong because of that. Because even my sister, who doesn't smoke, has to get x-rayed every year. Now with me, I have to get CT scans every year because I do smoke. But she has to get x-rayed every year because even her chances are higher because of both parents having it. And then of course my mom's dad had it and everything, so I have to quit. Plus I really want to get the gastric sleeve done. They won't do it if you're smoking. Because I've been trying everything to try to lose weight, and no, Marley, no, be a good boy. We are not barking at the neighbors making noise. They have a right. You're inside. Nothing out there is going to bother you. I promise. Don't talk back. They like to talk back. But, and that happens too. Secondhand smoke, stuff like that. My great aunt, she had lung cancer and never smoked a day in her life. Never let anyone smoke inside her home, you know. But but I am proud of my mom. When she got the diagnosis, she immediately went to vaping, and then I think it was a week before her surgery, she had to stop the vape pen, or it might have been, a few days before. I don't remember. It was long ago, and um, hasn't had anything since. And and my sister keeps saying, well, if mom can do it after smoking all those years and da 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 da, and I'm like, all right, mom was facing cancer. I'm not. I face a strong probability of it, but that's different. And I can't get that through to her. My mom tries to explain it to her that, when her dad died, she kept smoking. You know, my husband watched his mom die of emphysema. It just takes that one thing. And I did quit when my daughter was just a baby. She was like a few months old. And I quit for like 4 months. But unfortunately, I was taking fen-phen at the time. My son got into it. Long story short, that was a night from hell, and picked it right back up after I had the pulmonary embolus in my lung. In the hospital, they kept asking me, "Do you need anything? We can get you the patch. We can do this. We can do that." I'm like, "I'm fine," because it came down to breathe or smoke, and I chose to breathe. And then when I got out, my husband was real good about it, but my mom was smoking. And it became a drag a day, then it was a couple drags a day, and then it was full blown. See? And that's kind of how it was, and I don't know, I think I might have been okay with it had my mom not been smoking in front of me. I will never know, because can't go in the past and change it, but I can go for longer periods than like my husband can. I just can't give it all up. I did it for that 4 months, but when he got into those pills and overdosed and the trip to the ER, and I was going to college and I was having my first finals, and it was just so much stress, and my mom drove like something out of the movies where she went through a red light where cars were already crossing. How we kept from getting hit is beyond me. And when my husband got there, I told him, I'm like, you have to deal with this. I can't do it. Went outside, told my mom, I'm like, give me a cigarette. And she's like, what? No, because they were supposed to have quit too. And I'm like, don't bullshit me. Give me a cigarette. And so she did, and that was it. And like I said, when I had the embolus, I went a whole week, nothing, and then slowly picked it right back up. Me too. I did get up to where I was doing a pack, but I've cut it back, so now I'm not. But I'm kind of creeping up there right now because the past few days I haven't been taking the Wellbutrin. So if I take it, then I do really, really good. I can go hours. I even was in the car and didn't even think to light one up, and that's one of my big triggers. Driving in a car, that boredom, first thing in the morning, right before I go to sleep. Those are bad, bad, bad triggers. It's really bad if I drive, but I haven't been allowed to drive for a couple of years now. Between the stroke and the seizures. But I still have my license. I won't give my license up. Because there's always going to be that emergency, that I might have to drive, or actually, his spelling's right because I used to take that. If he has any problems with depression at all, you have to be very careful. When I was taking Chantix, I got down to where I was only having like 5 cigarettes a day, and it became a game between me and my husband. How many did you have? Well, I only had this, and but my husband, who he doesn't have any real problems with depression, but he was having wild dreams and just really couldn't take it. So we're trying the Wellbutrin route. And worst case scenario, I'll do the gum. Because I can get the surgery done if I'm doing the gum. Because it's not the nicotine that's the problem. It's the actual smoking. I've taken Effexor before. I'm not a fan of the drug myself. I don't think there's any problems taking Effexor and that. You would just have to monitor his moods, make sure that he's not going down the rabbit hole. Because my depression's really, really bad. And I didn't have any problems with it. Just keep making sure that he takes his meds. I really didn't have a problem getting off Effexor. Because pretty much the doctor at Pathways, that's when I stopped seeing him and started seeing someone in Paris. Because on there it said there's a slight risk, very rare risk, of a pulmonary embolus. And so I told my doctor, I'm like, I don't feel comfortable taking this. And he's like, well, that's tough. It's, proven effective and everything. And he's like, you have to take it. And I'm like, no, I don't. And I switched doctors. Withdrawals. It may be that he has to taper off of it first, and do a gentle step down from it instead of just all at once. I personally, for me, what works is Lexapro. That's what I take. And then, because I asked my doctor too, I'm like, can I take Lexapro and Wellbutrin? He's like, yeah, they're different, because you've got your serotonin uptake inhibitors, and there's just different classes, and the two can mix well. I tell Jared all the time, I'm like, if you see me standing over you with a pillow over your face in your sleep, I'm like, shh, it's all good. But I used to go to sleep with the ID channel on, and it would make him nervous because he'd wake up and, it'd be like Wives with Knives or Snapped or something. I'm like, gotta keep you on your toes. But, being married as long as we have been, it's lucky that's all it is. Well, hon, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, and I appreciate you hanging out with me. I really do. But my stomach is just killing me. So I'm going to head off. It's about how long me and my husband have been together. Been married for 7 years. But we've been together for about that long. Yeah, we're working on it. Did the ultrasound today. They looked at the liver, the kidneys, the pancreas, the spleen, and everything in between. They just can't look at the stomach itself because it's air-filled, and ultrasound doesn't pick up on that. So I'd have to have an x-ray or CT scan to look at the stomach itself. But the endoscopy should be fine for that. So, but I do really, really appreciate you hanging out with me and everything. And even if I don't respond back, I love seeing the comments. Sometimes I just forget because I'm like, okay, I want to think of what I want to say, and then I forget, and I don't go back, and multitude of reasons. I did too. And you take care, hon, okay? And thanks again. And you have a good night. Bye. Thank you.